Sleep shouldn't feel like a relay race to the bathroom. Nighttime trips drain energy and add real risks, from groggy mornings to missteps in the dark. Stay with me for a calm, natural approach that promises a simple, well-timed blend to soothe the bladder and cut those wake-ups. I'm going to start with a question most people answer with a tired smile. How many times did you get out of bed last night? If your hallway light feels like a sunrise at 2:17 a.m., you're not alone. Across North America, our evenings often pair a big dinner with a bigger drink, bottomless soda refills, a tall iced coffee after a late meeting, maybe a salty takeout feast with barbecue sauce that clings to the tongue. That routine seems innocent, but it quietly sets the stage for a restless night. And here's the twist most folks don't expect. The helpful answer isn't another giant mug before bed. It's a small, calm, focused approach. A simple blend, prepared correctly at the right time. Why does this matter so much? Interrupted sleep doesn't just steal energy. It snowballs into daytime fogginess, shorter patience, slower reaction time, and a messy appetite. Miss a few solid nights and concentration wobbles. Push that pattern for months and mood, weight management, and motivation all take a hit. There's also a practical safety piece people rarely talk about. Shuffling to the bathroom half asleep, especially on smooth floors, raises the odds of stumbles in the dark. Not to scare you, my goal is the opposite. I want you to feel empowered with straightforward steps you can use today. First, let's name a few culprits. Caffeine late in the day can nudge the kidneys to produce more urine and can irritate the bladder lining for some people. Alcohol, including that casual nightcap, loosens the brain's normal brake on nighttime urination. Salt-heavy meals, the classic pepperoni pizza, wings with extra sauce, takeout tacos, or deli sandwiches, pull water into the bloodstream and later invite your body to offload it. At 1 a.m., carbonation and certain acids common in soda and citrusy drinks can be irritants too. And artificial sweeteners, frequent guests in diet options, can be surprisingly bothersome for sensitive bladders. None of this means you need a joyless diet. It just means timing and portion size matter more than most of us realize. Now for the hopeful part. The solution I'll teach throughout this series centers on a gentle, low-volume mix designed to soothe rather than stimulate. I've seen too many people try to drown the problem with a massive nighttime cup labeled sleep tea. That backfires. More liquid right before bed equals, well, more trips. The smarter path is a small serving, made with ingredients that are kind to the bladder and the stomach, taken earlier in the evening so your body isn't flooded at midnight. When the method is right, many people notice fewer wake-ups and a calmer, less urgent feeling when they do need to go. Because this is about health, I want to set a friendly but firm boundary. Amounts and method really do matter. Using a heavy hand with any ingredient or drinking the blend too close to bedtime can undo your progress. I'll be precise when it's time to prepare it, and I'll also share a short 3-2-1 night routine bonus at the end of the series to boost results without adding complexity. Think of it as a clean landing strip for your bladder and your brain. Fewer surprises after the lights go out. More steady sleep until morning. Here's a powerful mindset shift you can start practicing tonight. Front-load your fluids during the day, then steer your late evening sips towards small, calming choices. If you reach for something bubbly out of habit, try plain water with a slice of pear or cucumber earlier in the evening, then ease off. If a sweet craving hits after dinner, consider a modest portion of fruit instead of a syrupy dessert or a second soda. Tiny changes add up, especially when you combine them with a blend meant to comfort rather than excite. One last note before we move on. If nighttime trips come with burning, fever, blood in the urine, or sudden severe changes, that's a signal to check in with a qualified professional. The ideas here are educational, not a diagnosis. For everyone else navigating the normal but frustrating pattern of waking up to pee, there's real relief in small, consistent steps. And when we eventually mix the blend the right way, concentrated, mild, and timed well, you'll understand why less can truly be more. The next tip is one of the most important, and ignoring it won't just deliver poor results. It may also lead to unwanted side effects that matter for your comfort and safety. So please follow along with an informed mindset. Let's build on the momentum we've created. You now know the goal isn't to drown the problem with a giant bedtime mug, but to use a calm, low-volume strategy that respects how your body actually works at night. To make that strategy stick, it helps to understand the simple biology that turns a quiet evening into a series of hallway trips, and how a few everyday habits can keep the bladder on high alert long after the lights go out. Think of your kidneys as meticulous timekeepers. During the day, they handle a higher flow of fluids and solutes while you're upright and active. As bedtime approaches, your brain releases more of a hormone that normally reduces overnight urine production, giving your bladder a chance to rest. Several common choices, especially in North American routines, push against that rest period. Caffeine blocks the feeling of sleepiness and can increase urine production. Alcohol temporarily quiets the same hormone that should be helping you produce less urine, so your system makes more. A salty dinner, pizza with extra cheese, buffalo wings, nachos piled high, or a late platter of barbecue, draws in water to balance the sodium, then sends you to the bathroom to get rid of it. Add a fizzy drink or two, maybe a diet soda with artificial sweeteners, and you've stacked several nudges toward a restless night. The bladder itself can be fussy. Its lining doesn't love certain acids, sweeteners, and spicy compounds. Tomato-heavy sauces, citrus, hot peppers, and strong mint can be irritating for some people, especially late. Carbonation adds pressure and can heighten the sensation that you need to go. It's a double effect, more urine being produced, and a bladder that's a little more reactive than it needs to be. The result is a pattern that feels mysterious. Why do I wake up so often? But it's often a recipe you can rewrite. Here's how to start rewriting it. First, shift your fluids earlier. Aim to drink the majority of your water before late afternoon. Then taper. If you enjoy coffee, try setting a personal caffeine curfew. Many people do well stopping coffee by early afternoon and skipping strong iced tea after dinner. Swap bubbly drinks for still options with gentle flavor earlier in the evening. Pear slices, cucumber, or a hint of chamomile aroma can be surprisingly satisfying when you're not chasing a sugar rush. If salt is your love language, move the saltiest choices to lunch and keep dinner simpler. Roasted vegetables, baked chicken or fish without heavy rubs, and grains cooked without excess sodium. Even modest changes can ease nighttime output within a few days. Second, reconsider the sweetness strategy. Artificial sweeteners in diet sodas, sugar-free desserts, and some protein bars feel like a win, but for a subset of people, they irritate the bladder. If you're testing this, try a 1-week trial without those products after 4 p.m. and watch what happens. If you do crave something sweet after dinner, a small portion of a low-acid fruit like ripe pear or melon tends to be gentler than citrus, chocolate frosting, or a caramel-heavy treat. Keep portions modest. Volume matters here too. Third, protect your sleep window. Create a 2 to 3 hour last sip zone before bedtime where you finish any planned fluids and let your body settle. A small, soothing blend taken earlier in that window works better than chugging right before you lie down. Add a 5-minute unwinding routine, a few slow breaths, gentle pelvic floor relaxation, maybe a brief stretch or a warm foot soak. These may sound simple, yet they cue your nervous system to dial down urgency. And if nighttime bathroom trips are part of your life right now, set the scene for safety. A clear path, a small nightlight, and non-slip rugs make a real difference. Finally, a word about expectations and safety. These steps are meant to improve comfort and sleep, not to diagnose or replace medical care. If you notice pain, burning, fever, new incontinence, or a dramatic change in patterns, it's wise to speak with a qualified professional. For many otherwise healthy adults, though, the combination of earlier hydration, lighter evening choices, and a carefully prepared, low-volume blend can noticeably reduce wake-ups. The magic isn't magic at all. It's physiology cooperating with consistent habits. Keep this picture in mind. Your bladder prefers quiet at night. Everything you do in the late afternoon and evening either helps it relax or keeps it on edge. When you choose calmer inputs, less salt, less late caffeine, fewer irritants, and give your body a short runway to wind down, you create the conditions where a targeted blend can shine. That's the synergy we're building toward. The next tip is one of the most important, and ignoring it won't just deliver poor results, it may also lead to unwanted side effects that matter for your comfort and safety. So please follow along with an informed mindset. You've already shifted the evening environment in your favor. Less late caffeine, fewer salty, saucy dinners, and a thoughtful taper of fluids. That clears space for the most practical question people ask me. What goes into a soothing, low-volume blend that supports a quieter bladder at night? The answer isn't exotic or expensive. It's a short list of kitchen-friendly ingredients that play well together, chosen because they tend to be gentle on the bladder and easy on the stomach. The real surprise is how effective a small serving can feel when the timing is right. Start with a familiar friend, chamomile. Beyond its cozy reputation, many people find that a concentrated infusion of chamomile taken earlier in the evening helps the body exhale from the day. It's not a knockout punch. It's a warm nudge toward calm. Used in a modest volume, it offers aroma and softness without flooding your system before bed. If you've ever sipped a gallon-sized mug and then wondered why you're up at 1:40 a.m., this is your turning point. Smaller can be smarter. Some blends also welcome lemon balm, Melissa, for its mild, pleasant character. While everyone's sensitivity differs, many folks describe these herbs as quiet rather than loud, which is exactly what a nighttime routine needs. Now for a more unexpected player, pumpkin seeds. North Americans know them well from trail mixes, autumn salads, and the October ritual of roasting seeds after carving a jack-o'-lantern. Ground finely, they add body to a beverage without harsh flavors, and they bring along nutrients and plant compounds that many people associate with urinary comfort. The key is texture. A fine grind blends smoothly, avoids gritty surprises, and lets you use a tiny amount to good effect. Think of it as the backstage crew, barely seen, but important for structure. To round out the flavor, reach for ripe pear. Compared with more acidic fruits, a ripe pear is gentle and quietly sweet, with a softness that doesn't shout. A thin slice or a modest blend-in earlier in the evening can shift a drink from medicinal to enjoyable, without the splashy sugar hit that keeps some bladders jumpy. Pear also plays nicely with chamomile's floral notes. If you've been leaning on citrus-heavy choices after dinner, lemonade, orange slices, or a tart frozen dessert, this is a good moment to experiment with a sweeter, lower-acid pivot. Here's a subtle but important idea. The goal isn't diuresis, it's comfort. Many detox or fat-burning drinks popular on social media push the body to make more urine. That's the opposite of what we want at night. The ingredients here are chosen for calm, low acidity, low irritant load, and pleasant aroma. This is also why I often suggest leaving peppermint-dominant blends for daytime. Plenty of people love mint, but mint can be brisk and stimulating for some. The same goes for strong cinnamon-clove mixes that show up everywhere during pumpkin spice season. They smell like nostalgia, yet the spice intensity late at night can be more wake-up call than lullaby. A few practical notes make a big difference. Water temperature matters. Too hot can pull bitterness. Too cool leaves you with a weak infusion that tempts you to drink more volume to feel it. Aim for a balanced steep that concentrates flavor into a small cup. Straining well is kindness to your digestion. If you'd like a hint of sweetness, reach for the lightest touch. Think a whisper, not a spoonful. Big sugar swings invite big thirsts later, and that nudges you toward extra sips you don't need. Another insight that surprises people: the nose leads the nervous system. Aroma cues calm. That means you can pour a modest serving, hold it, and take slow breaths before sipping. This tiny ritual communicates it's evening to your brain faster than scrolling through messages does. Add a soft light and 5 unhurried breaths, and you've layered 2 benefits: a gentler bladder and a more settled mind. It's not fancy, and that's why it works. Let's talk personalization without complicating things. If you're sensitive to the ragweed family, chamomile may not be your match. In that case, keep the pear and pumpkin seed base and lean on a non-mint, low-acid herbal note that you tolerate well. If you're experimenting with lemon balm, start with less. It's about a mood of comfort, not a strong taste. If your evenings include a late gym session, give your body time to cool down before sipping. Heat and effort can ramp up thirst, which tempts larger gulps. You'll get better results by satisfying post-workout hydration earlier, then returning to the blend only after your system has settled. North American routines offer plenty of traps and plenty of easy wins. Take the classic movie night: buttery popcorn, a big soda, maybe a bowl of salsa with chips. That trio is essentially a night-wakening kit: salt plus carbonation plus acid. Swapping in a smaller, still beverage with a soft pear note, keeping snacks less salty, and placing a modest, concentrated chamomile-forward blend 2 to 3 hours before lights out flips the script. Likewise, if dessert usually means a frosted cupcake or a scoop of chocolate ice cream, consider a small bowl of ripe fruit and call it good. In both cases, taste satisfaction remains, but bladder irritation drops. If you enjoy supplements or herbal products, remember that more ingredients are not automatically better. Complex, multi-herb formulas sometimes hide lively components: citrus peels, strong mints, hibiscus, that are fine at lunch yet distracting at night. The elegance here is restraint: 2 or 3 calm notes, a touch of texture from finely ground pumpkin seed, and a flavor bridge from pear are plenty. Overbuilding can turn a helpful idea into an experiment that keeps you up. As we continue, we'll protect the simplicity of this approach by avoiding 2 common mistakes that quietly erase progress: choosing the wrong timing and using too much liquid in the name of comfort. When you sidestep those pitfalls, the same ingredients you just met begin to feel like a smart routine rather than a gamble. That's when evenings become predictable again, in a good way, and mornings feel less like recovery missions. The next tip is one of the most important, and ignoring it won't just deliver poor results. It may also lead to unwanted side effects that matter for your comfort and safety, so please follow along with an informed mindset. By now, you've met the calm ingredients and the spirit of restraint that makes them work. The piece that unlocks real change isn't novel, but it is often ignored. When you drink and how much you drink matter as much as what you drink. The bladder loves routine. If evenings feel unpredictable, it's usually because timing and volume are working against you in small, everyday ways. Fixing those 2 variables turns a thoughtful blend from nice idea into a reliable habit. Start with timing. The body's natural rhythm is designed to produce less urine at night. You can either cooperate with that rhythm or crowd it. A simple rule keeps you on the cooperative side. Concentrate meaningful fluids during the first 2/3 of the day, then taper. Many people do best finishing their last generous glass of water in the late afternoon and treating the evening like a glide path: light sips only, and none in the final hour before bed. Place your soothing blend squarely in that glide path 2 to 3 hours before lights out. That way you capture the comforting effect of a warm, low-acid infusion without pushing a big wave of liquid into your night. Evening schedules differ, so let's be concrete. Picture a typical North American weekday: coffee at 8 a.m., a refill during a mid-morning meeting, a big lunch with a salty sandwich and chips, a late afternoon iced tea to power through emails, then a 7 p.m. dinner. If you drink most of your fluids with lunch and the iced tea, and you switch the dinner drink from a tall soda to a small still water, you've already reduced the overnight load. At 8:30 p.m., after the kitchen is closed and the dishes are done, enjoy a small serving of your chamomile-forward blend. By 10:30 p.m., your bladder has had time to process that modest amount, and your nervous system has registered the aroma and warmth as a cue to settle. Now volume, the saboteur hiding in plain sight. It feels counterintuitive because in wellness culture, a large mug signals comfort. But a large mug is simply a large input. Even if the contents are calming, the quantity guarantees extra trips. Think espresso, not carafe. You're looking for a concentrated experience in a smaller cup, strained well to preserve a gentle texture. This is where people who did everything right still miss. They choose the best ingredients and then dilute the benefit by drinking too much, too late. There's another trap: stacking liquids without noticing. A bowl of soup at dinner, a juicy dessert, and a diet soda because it's sugar-free. Add those together and you've quietly matched a full water bottle. It's easy to overlook the fluid load in foods. If evenings are your social time, you might also be sipping while chatting. the extra sparkling water at a friend's house, the flavored seltzer during a game, the decaf top-off at a diner because the waitress just freshened your cup. None of these is wrong in isolation. The problem is the cumulative effect. Let's translate all of this into actions that fit real life. Decide on a personal caffeine cutoff, often early afternoon, and mostly keep it. Shift the saltiest meals earlier in the day, or split a salty entree and pair it with a big salad. Pour your evening beverage into a smaller cup on purpose, not as a punishment, but as a strategy. Savor it. Take a breath, notice the aroma, sip slowly, and stop when it's gone. If a sweet note makes the ritual feel complete, add a whisper of ripe pear rather than spoonfuls of sugar or honey. When thirst shows up late, often after a warm shower or workout, it's a clue to move exercise earlier when possible or to hydrate earlier and then taper. If that's not possible, choose a few small sips of still water and give your body a little time to settle before bed. Temperature and texture matter more than people realize. Ice-cold drinks can wake up the system and spike urgency for some. Sticky, syrupy beverages slow absorption and can leave you feeling paradoxically thirsty later. A warm, smooth, lightly aromatic blend cues relaxation. Straining finely ground pumpkin seed keeps the texture friendly while preserving the tiny dose of structure that helps some people feel satisfied with less. Safety and comfort ride together here. If you use medications that affect fluid balance, diuretics, certain blood pressure pills, some supplements, work with your clinician to set a schedule that respects both your prescription and your sleep. If you've experienced dizziness when standing up quickly at night, consider a small nightlight and clear the path to the bathroom so you aren't dodging laundry baskets or pet toys. And if your pattern changes suddenly, or symptoms like burning, fever, or blood in the urine show up, it's time for professional advice. Educational routines are powerful, but they're not a substitute for care tailored to you. The best part of getting timing and volume right is how quickly the body responds. Within a handful of evenings, many people notice fewer wake-ups and a calmer feeling when they do step out of bed. Morning energy feels less fragile. The day opens up a little. That momentum makes it easier to keep the routine going, because you're not relying on willpower alone. You're riding physiology that finally has room to do what it wanted to do all along: rest. So keep the core simple. Earlier hydration, smaller evening sips, a modest, well-strained, chamomile-forward blend 2 to 3 hours before bed, and a dinner that doesn't weigh you down with salt. Guard your glide path, avoid the temptation to top off, and let repetition carry you. When timing and volume stop working against you, the rest of the plan clicks into place almost by itself. The next tip is one of the most important, and ignoring it won't just deliver poor results. It may also lead to unwanted side effects that matter for your comfort and safety. So please follow along with an informed mindset. You've seen how timing and volume quietly rewrite nighttime patterns. That foundation sets up the part many people skip: the personal adjustments that keep progress safe, steady, and real. Think of this as refining the signal. When you tune a radio, small turns make the station clear. Here, small choices clarify what soothes your bladder and what stirs it up, so you waste less effort and enjoy more sleep. Let's start with a simple truth. Bodies vary. What relaxes one person's bladder may feel neutral or even irritating to another. That's not failure, it's data. Treat your evening like a gentle experiment with 3 guardrails. Keep changes small, change one thing at a time, and give each change a few days before judging it. Most people are surprised by how quickly patterns emerge when they switch from guessing to observing. A practical way to observe is a 7-day evening log. Nothing fancy. A note on your phone or a paper by the fridge. Track 4 items: what you ate after 4 p.m., what you drank and when, the time you sipped your soothing blend, and the number of nighttime wake-ups with a short note about how urgent they felt. Add one optional line in the morning: how rested you feel on a 5-point scale. By week's end, you'll spot themes. Maybe salsa night means 2 trips, while roasted fish and vegetables mean 1 or none. Those clues help you steer without willpower because you're responding to facts from your own life. Allergies and sensitivities deserve a calm spotlight. If you've ever reacted to ragweed or daisies, chamomile, part of the Asteraceae family, may not be your best match. If that's you, keep the rest of the routine and choose a different gentle herbal note you tolerate well, avoiding strong mints and citrus peels late. If nuts and seeds are tricky for you, test pumpkin seed in very small amounts or skip it entirely. The blend can still work on the strength of aroma, warmth, and timing. For sweeteners, recall that some people find artificial ones irritating at night. A whisper of ripe pear can satisfy without the zing that wakes up sensitive bladders. Medication schedules matter too. Diuretics and certain blood pressure medicines influence fluid balance by design. Talk with your clinician about the best window for those doses so your sleep goals and your prescription are on the same team. If you manage blood sugar, consider that large, sugary nightcaps can lead to thirst later. Choosing a lighter, low-acid evening snack reduces that loop. And if you're pregnant, recovering from surgery, or managing pelvic floor symptoms, check in with a qualified professional before altering routines. Comfort and safety go hand in hand. Small environment tweaks go further than they appear. A dim, warm light in the bathroom keeps your brain from registering morning. Non-slip rugs and a clear path prevent the jolt of a near fall. Set your thermostat a touch cooler if you can. Many people sleep more soundly in a slightly cool room, which indirectly reduces the wake and wander cycle. If you live in a dry climate or run heat in winter, consider a modest bedroom humidifier in the early evening, then turn it off before bed to avoid air that's too moist. Comfort is cumulative. Another decision point is exercise timing. Late evening workouts spike body temperature and thirst. Both are fine goals, just not right before bed. If evenings are your only window, move the workout earlier in the evening and rehydrate right after, finishing your planned fluids at least 2 hours before bedtime. Then treat the blend as part of your cool-down ritual, a small, soothing note once your pulse has settled. For people who enjoy a warm shower, build in a dry-down period so you're not chugging water at 10:45 p.m. out of habit. Let's turn to spice and flavor. The autumn staples many North Americans love, cinnamon, clove, nutmeg, are nostalgic and can be wonderful in daytime baking, but concentrated at night, they can stimulate some palates more than soothe. Keep the evening profile mellow. If you crave a cozy impression, try a hint of vanilla aroma in the air rather than extra spice in your cup. And if tomato-based dinners are your favorite, move them earlier in the day or keep portions modest. Then balance with less acidic sides. Again, we're not banning foods, we're placing them wisely. There's a quiet psychology here too. Many of us equate more with better. But the evening routine we're building gets stronger when you do less of the stimulating stuff and just enough of the comforting stuff. Smaller cup, earlier time, lighter flavors. If someone at your table pours you a refill from habit, practice a friendly, "I'm good for now." It's a tiny script that protects your sleep later. Safety checkpoints keep everything grounded. If you notice burning, fever, blood in the urine, pelvic pain, or a sudden change in pattern, don't troubleshoot alone. Seek medical advice. If you experience dizziness when standing at night, sit at the edge of the bed for a breath before rising and keep a light within reach. If any ingredient seems to cause a reaction, itching, rash, stomach upset, pause and reassess. Educational routines are powerful, but they're not a diagnosis and not a replacement for personal care. To make the transition easier, try a 3-evening reset. Day 1, remove late carbonation and artificial sweeteners after 4 p.m. Day 2, keep day 1 and shift salty foods earlier. Day 3, keep both and place your small chamomile-forward blend 2 to 3 hours before bed, strained and sipped slowly. Most people feel the difference by the end of that reset. Fewer wake-ups, calmer urgency, and a morning that starts on steadier feet. All of this prepares you for the part everyone looks forward to, the precise, easy method to make the blend so it's pleasant, consistent, and friendly to your nighttime goals. When the ingredients meet the right technique, the result feels like a soft exhale built into your evening, rather than a gamble with your sleep. The next tip is one of the most important, and ignoring it won't just deliver poor results. It may also lead to unwanted side effects that matter for your comfort and safety. So please follow along with an informed mindset. You've built a quieter evening, earlier hydration, calmer flavors, smaller sips, and a clear path for your bladder to rest. Now it's time to bring the idea to the kitchen counter and make it practical. The goal is a small, smooth, consistent blend that comforts rather than stimulates, prepared at a time that helps your body settle instead of waking it up. Gather the pieces. You'll want dried chamomile, optional lemon balm, also called melissa, if you tolerate it well, a few thin slices of ripe pear, and a small spoonful of very finely ground pumpkin seed. Use unsalted pumpkin seeds you already enjoy in snacks or salads. Grind them to a soft meal in a clean spice grinder, or crush thoroughly with a mortar and pestle. Finely ground texture makes the result pleasant and helps keep the serving size small. Measure with intention. For one person, plan for a petite cup, about 3 to 4 ounces, 90–120 ml. Warm 5 ounces, 150 ml of water until hot but not boiling. Add 1 teaspoon of dried chamomile or a standard tea bag. If you're using lemon balm, add a half teaspoon of the dry herb. Keep the dose light. Steep for 5 minutes. Longer can pull bitterness without extra comfort. While it steeps, mash 2 or 3 thin pear slices with a fork until pulpy. Strain the chamomile well into a small mug, then stir in the pear pulp and a level teaspoon of the finely ground pumpkin seed. Let it sit for 1 minute so the textures meet, then strain again very thoroughly into your final cup. You should have a smooth, lightly aromatic blend with a gentle body. Taste and adjust gently. If you crave a hint of sweetness, the pear usually provides enough. Avoid heavy honey pours or syrups. They can lead to a thirst rebound an hour later. If the herbal note feels too strong, reduce the steep time rather than diluting with extra water. Remember, we're aiming for a small serving. If texture is your sticking point, add a final pass through a fine mesh and a paper filter. You'll keep the benefits while making the experience silky. Place the blend wisely in your evening. Sip it 2 to 3 hours before your planned bedtime, not as a nightcap. Sit comfortably, take 5 slow breaths over the cup, and drink without multitasking. This isn't a rule so much as a cue. The aroma and the warm, small volume collaborate with your nervous system, telling it that there's nothing urgent to do. Layer safety with clarity. If you have known allergies to chamomile or other Asteraceae plants, skip chamomile altogether. If seeds cause reactions, leave out the pumpkin seed meal and keep the rest of the method. The routine works on timing and gentleness as much as on ingredients. If you're managing a health condition, pregnant, or taking medications that influence fluid balance, work with your clinician to fit this routine into your day. Any sign of infection, burning, fever, blood in urine, warrants professional care. These notes are educational and supportive. They're not a diagnosis or a cure for disease. Here's the promised 3-2-1 bonus that multiplies your results without complicating your life. 3 hours before bed, finish large beverages and close the kitchen on very salty foods and heavy sauces. The pepperoni pizza slice and the extra saucy wings belong at lunch if you love them. 2 hours before bed, if you need a snack, choose something light and low in acid, like a small bowl of ripe pear or melon, and take a relaxed 10-minute walk or a gentle stretch to downshift your evening. 1 hour before bed, switch screens to night mode, keep light low, and do 5 rounds of slow breathing. Inhale for 4, exhale for 6, while unclenching the pelvic floor and jaw. Keep sips minimal in this last hour. The body appreciates a quiet runway. Add small reinforcements where they fit your life. Place a nightlight to reduce the startle of bright bathroom bulbs. Clear the path to the bathroom so your brain doesn't fully wake scanning for shoes or pet toys. If, out of habit, you reach for a fizzy drink while streaming a show, swap the habit with a ritual. Set out your small cup, breathe in the gentle chamomile aroma, and enjoy that sense of evening on purpose. Repetition makes it automatic, and automatic is where real change lives. A quick word on expectations. No single blend is a universal solution, and that's okay. What you're doing is aligning your habits with how your body prefers to work at night. Many people notice fewer wake-ups within a handful of evenings when they keep the serving small, strain well, and place the timing earlier. Others need a week of consistency before the pattern sticks. The measure of success isn't perfection. It's progress you can feel when morning arrives, and you don't need an extra hour to shake off the fog. If you found these steps helpful, consider sharing them with someone who jokes about owning the hallway at 2 a.m. Practical knowledge spreads best through friends and family. And if you want more straightforward, calm strategies like this, tap like, share, or subscribe so you don't miss the next helpful idea. Better nights are built, not wished into existence, and you've just built a strong first layer. The next tip is one of the most important, and ignoring it won't just deliver poor results. It may also lead to unwanted side effects that matter for your comfort and safety. So please follow along with an informed mindset.